Welcome back to Tuesday, where we check out the 3 rotating vendors, the Telvar Merchant, the Scholarium Merchant, and the Infinite Archive Merchant. We are starting in the Scholarium. Let's see what scripts we have. Bound Affix Script Empower adds Empower, a buff increasing heavy attack damage. Bound Focus Script Trauma adds Healing Absorption effect. And Bound Signature Script Thief's Swiftness adds improvement to your mobility. Looks like that's it. Let's head over to the Telvar Merchant in Imperial City. We are now in Imperial Sewers, and we're going to check out Here's the Stone and see what's new this week. First up, we have Accelerate Lilac Purple Skill Style. This one is occasionally found from Psijic portals, but now you can get it here for 30,000 Telvar, which is kind of spendy. Next up, we have Clockwork City Treasure Maps. Clockwork City drops Livewire, Mad Tinkerer, and Unfathomable Darkness, but also there are 4 different books that you can find if you have learned the eidetic memory. If you're not sure how that works, there's a link below. And remember, we have a higher chance of furnishings during the Pantamriel event, so if you buy these now, you will have an extra chance to get those books. I think 6,000 Telvar might be a bit steep for something like Clockwork City that you can usually get fairly cheap from vendors, but it is here if you want it. We have scripts. Bound Affix Script Force adds Force, a buff increasing critical damage. Bound Affix Script Savagery and Prophecy adds Savagery and Prophecy, buffs increasing weapon and spell critical chance. Focus Script Flame Damage adds Flame Damage. And Bound Signature Script Anchorite's Potency adds a Consumed Soul Gem to grant ultimate effect. Our leads this week. First, we have Larimer Gems. This one is for the Oaken Soul Ring. This is the one that drops off of the Stormhaven Mudcrab World Boss. I farmed this one quite a bit. It's not horrible to get, but it's not super easy either. So if you have the Telvar, it might not be a bad purchase. Oaken Soul is an excellent mythic to have. So is Harpooner's Wading Kilt. This is the lead Tide Glass Beads for, again, Harpooner's Wading Kilt. This is one that drops off of Shadowfen Alchemy nodes, which is another one that's not super fun to loot. So these are 2 pretty decent leads. Jewelry this week, we have Necklace and Ring of Vicious Death. You might have heard of Vicious Death if you've ever looked into a Bomb Blade for PvP. And then Netch Oil Amulet and Ring as well. Time to head over to Infinite Archive. And now it's time to see Filer Ool in Infinite Archive. First up, we have Archival Enigmas. Consume 20 Archival Enigmas to unlock the Veteran of the Infinite achievement and the Veteran of the Infinite face art. Here's our face art. I don't think this is worth 7,000 Archival Fortunes. For one, you need 20 of them, and they're guaranteed to drop at some point if you just do enough of the Infinite Archive dailies. So I would skip this one. Archival Essay Reaper's March Treasure Map. At 2,000 Archival Fortunes, I don't think this one's worth it. They're fairly cheap at guild traders. However, Reaper's March brings us Cinch's Bite, Skooma Smuggler, and Soulshine. Also, you have a chance for leads for Ancestral High Elf, Legs, and Shields. Those are also still pretty cheap. Again, I would not use 2,000 Archival Fortunes for this particular map. Our scripts. Bound Affix Script Evasion adds Evasion, a buff reducing damage from area effects. Bound Affix Script Magicka Steel adds Magicka Steel, a debuff granting Magicka Restoration to attackers. Bound Focus Script Generate Ultimate adds Ultimate Generation. And Bound Signature Script Anchorite's Cruelty adds a Consumed Soul Gem to deal Oblivion damage effect. Next up, we have another mask. Remember, we had a period where we had nothing but shoulders. This one is Stonekeeper. This one drops from Frost Vault. It is a rare drop. All of these are. I'm never mad when people want to buy the style page for masks. But Frost Vault in particular has a pretty spicy hard mode. You do have a better chance of the style page when you have the hard mode achievement. You don't have to have the hard mode when it drops. You just have to have the achievement done. But I still think this is a pretty good deal. Companion Equipment Medium Armor. I normally don't recommend companion equipment. You are at the mercy of RNG, and it's also bound, unlike the companion equipment you find in the wild. I've been reading a little bit more about companions, and it does look like more of the traits have their place. Still not sure I'll recommend it, but I wanted to note that You're not just restricted to, say, aggressive and quickened in medium armor. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, we have 8 companions now. If you're looking at different builds that have other traits, it might or might not be worth it to you. So keep that in mind. But it is bound. So if you get the wrong thing, you can't really do anything with it. Okay, next up is Fragment of Hersine. This one is for the Roar Verdant Green skill style. This one is for the Hersine's Haunt group Delve boss in Craglorn. Remember, these are a guarantee drop your first time trying it, so if you think you can handle the content, I definitely recommend doing it that way instead of spending archival fortunes. But it's only 1,000 archival fortunes, so again, I'm not going to be mad if you take a shortcut and just grab it. Okay, our leads this week. We have Biome-Proof Plating. This one is for Esoteric and Environmental Greaves and drops from the Vardenfell Delve Nuchuleft. Next up is Magicka-Imbued Metal Plates. This one is for Snow Treaders and comes from Delves in Cyrodiil. Okay, 6th House Ornamental Fasteners. This one is for the 6th House Robe Costume and drops out of Forgotten Wastes in Vardenfell. They have increased the drop rate of all of the Runebox fragments, so farming these shouldn't be too terrible. There are 7 different ones. I still wouldn't spend 7,000 archival fortunes on it, though. If you look at the Tamriel Trade Center suggested price, it's 600 to 700 gold. I think you can get all of these fairly cheap. 7,000 archival fortunes is a pretty high price. Okay, let's go back to our books. We have Ciphers of the Eye. I think we've had this one before. This one, the eidetic memory, comes out of Ciphers Midden in Apocrypha, but the book itself drops from Infinite Archive. Same thing with What's an Arcanist. It drops out of Infinite Archive, and the eidetic memory is in Apocrypha. That's going to do it for us for this week. We're going to run Infinite Archive and see what gear drops. Every week, new gear drops, and we never know what it's going to be, so let's go find out. We just finished a couple arcs of Infinite Archive, and this week we have gear dropping from Auradon. That includes Armor of the Veiled Heritance, Queen's Elegance, and Twin Sisters. We also have gear dropping from Somerset. That includes Grace of Gloom, Griffin's Ferocity, and Wisdom of Vanis. Remember, for the DLC, you need to have access to the DLC for that gear to drop for you. This is not a workaround. All right, that's going to do it for this week. We will see you in the next one.